Morning, friends. I'm doing a kind of backwards showing you of what I've been doing today. I've been using these colours over the last week, and as you can see, the cups are quite empty. So I thought I'd show you a couple of the creations that I've done, and I've actually poured this last bit of the paint out on a 10 by 10, and I'm going to do a dip with this board here in a moment. But I've done quite a few creations with the huge amount of paint, and I just thought I wanted to show you what's been going on with this colour palette. It's a really gorgeous colour palette. It's just pretty much been using white, cream, 2 shades of turquoise, bronzy gold that I made up, and the burnt umber. Oh, and black. So let's go and have a look at what I've made, and then let's do the last of the pours that I did was this afternoon, and I did a really delicate swipe, and I say delicate to just emphasize the notion that it wasn't busy. I laid all the colors out in stripes and then just pulled the black over, and I really like how it's not too busy with cells. I've kind of overstretched it deliberately because I wanted to have that ring kind of effect, which I've got really well in some places. And then of course the cells kept on coming up through. I mean, I did finish this about half an hour ago, and even coming back to it now, there's more cells emerging. I hope they slow down because I did just want it to be a more kind of cleaner painting, or no, not cleaner, that's not what I mean, maybe one that's got more negative space. But that was heaps of fun, and I'm just showing you this. Look at that little bit there that looks like a tree bark. It looks like knots. But I really do love that colour palette, and I wanted to give you a peekaboo at it. I was pouring into and onto this space, which has 2 massive racks that aren't drying racks. They're actually shelves, sort of metal shelves that I've put over a cardboard container like that to catch everything, just on a picnic table, which is slowly getting splattered with paint. But there's heaps of leftover spillage at the bottom here, and I thought, wow, what can I use that leftover paint for? The leftover paint on tiles that I always have around, coaster sized tiles. So I think they're like 4 by 4, and just dipped straight into the tiles and got some really gorgeous effects. And when these are dry, they'll get a resin coat, or maybe even the Repcoat enamel spray, acrylic spray, and then I'll cover the back with felt, and they'll be nice little sets ready to go. This is another one of the paintings that I did using that palette. Oh, I'm just going to move this one. Oh, isn't that nice? Have a look at some of the copper that's come through. I'm turning that into a fairy garden because I can see mushrooms and fairies in that. But that's not what we're looking at today. We're looking at this one, and this is, oh, I'm scared to say it's dry. Oh, it's still very touch dry. I'm glad I didn't put my hand straight into that. It would have definitely been problematic. And it's got some really, really gorgeous cells and details in there, and massive cracking because the temperature changed quickly and I wasn't home to bring it inside. They're darker cells, they're coming up from the black, but I'm going to fill them with gold, and I really actually like the cracking in texture these days. I've moved away from wanting the perfect smooth poured outcome. The phone rang. Okay, here we go. Oh, the centre part's not mushed in. I'm going to have to put it down. I can't believe that it didn't cover. Okay, let's go. Oh, it's still not covered in. I'm going to have to... Oh, it slid. I wonder how that's going to look. You ready? Let's just pull it out now. I'm pretty sure the paint's still not covered the whole canvas. we go. All right. It's a lot more squishier and muddier than I was hoping, but over the next minute or so, I'll just move out of the way. Over the next minute or so, the cells will start to show. Okay, I'm going to get my gun. Oh, it's just right here. Well, it's not really my gun, is it? It's my torch. And let's give it a flick, see what wants to pop up. It's a lot darker than I was hoping. It still looks nice. Still, I just wanted it to be a bit lighter. There wasn't much white left in the mix. I'm going to have a closer look in a minute and see if I want to work up some of the cells in the black. Oh no, I have just decided to work up some of the cells in the black to help it lighten up in colour. It's a nice twin set, and I think that when I turn them this way, we can appreciate them a bit better. Sorry about my shoulder and big head, that's in the way. All right, yeah, they're nice. Ew, my fingers are so disgusting, but I'm gonna take you down and have a look and then go and clean up. So the dipping patterns are a little bit wonky compared to what I like, but still really nice. And there's some really good, nice plump cells coming up, which will make this have a really good delicate feature. Oh look, that looks like toes sticking out. Quite a bit of metallic, which will always make it look nice. And the second one over here, let's see if we can find those matching toes. No, they're not there. So anyway, that's what I've been doing with a turquoise, what will we call it? Turquoise and chocolate palette. Very nice. Oh, hi Jasmine again. No, I've got one more thing to talk about. Hey, this is what I keep a lot of my stuff under, so that the insects don't get on them. I haven't had them out for ages because I've been stuck inside doing all of my pouring, but now that the weather's improved, that's so good. Look, there's the gate to the Artie van carrying on. Look at all that disgusting mess. But I forgot, here's two more things that I made using that colour palette. Oh, hang on, no it's not. They've got purple on them. Oh, well that was a false alarm. Sorry about that everyone. Let's go back to that colour palette. Anyway, what a happy, lovely colour palette. There's some nice metallic to finish on. Bye! See you next time. Okay, here we go. Can you hear the background music? I've got an 80s special on, and I'm loving some of the song and hating some of the songs. This song I can't help but sing, but I really don't like it anymore. Can you believe it's 80s music and it's nearly 40 years old? Oh! Alright, that's enough chatting on. So here we go. Another 10 by 10, because these are lovely 10 by 10s. I'm aware that I've left a bit of space there because when I flip it I want you to be able to see it. This is raw, it's got no paint on it, and I often prefer to put a thin coat of paint so it's got something to grab onto. But what I'll do is I'm going to put it down straight in the middle. There'll be quite a bit of squirt out. I'll tip it so that some of the paint on the sides can come onto this canvas. Then I'll give it a little couple of rubs and then we'll pull it apart and let's see how we go. Dips are one of my favorite things. You know, I just love the surprise and the way that the colors all move together. I think they're just a really gorgeous looking kind of feature, and or not feature, pattern. I don't know what it is about them. Just at the moment I really love dips. Swiping used to be the favorite thing I liked looking at. Yeah, it just changes all the time. What's your favorite kind of outcome to look at the moment? Let me know in the comments. All right, come on, let's go. Okay, it's down, and I haven't squished it yet. I don't want to mush it too much because that makes it muddy. I've turned it over so that the paint can push into the canvas. And now I'm just going to do a few oh, I felt that one be quite squishy. Hello, Jasmine. What are you doing right near where I need to be? Go and get a toy and squeak it. That's what you always do when it comes to this time. All right, we're setting up to do this dip now. Let's get ready. It's the teacup pour. Do you remember that pour where I had that leftover paint and transferred it into the glass teapot? And this is it, pretty much dry. Yeah, nice and dry. The last little bit of drizzle that I didn't get on camera, I did this nice effect with. It's a really, really busy piece. I personally find it really, really hard to look at for a long time. I like negative space in my work, but as I've noted more and more, I can't always pour all correct paintings to my own taste because many people will like this, but I am thinking that I might re-pour some over here in that area to give a bit of negative space so the eyes can have a rest. But over here the features are too nice to re-pour. Let's see if we can get some of the copper in the light as it dried. And you can just see how that glows. Oh, look, see the silicone coming through? You can see the silicone there, but the copper in this piece is really, really shimmery and gorgeous, and quite a gorgeous feature on its own. Okay, well, let's go and do the dip, and that will be the last of this palette, and I think I'll be quite relieved to move back to my normal palette, which is something like that. I spot you. There you are. Let's get you down. In the arty van, and I feel like I'm missing a painting. I can't find it. The other one that I've done using that colour palette. This is a nebula piece that I'm working on. It's looking really good. But let's go and try and find that other painting.